We now move on and over to the Indo-Pacific, where, according to reports, South Korea's Foreign Minister Cho Hyun will visit Beijing this week for talks with Chinese counterpart Wang Yi. The two are expected to discuss the potential attendance of Chinese President Xi Jinping at the upcoming Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in South Korea. This marks Cho's first visit to China since taking office in June. US President Donald Trump will also attend the APEC Summit in Jeonju, starting on October the 31st. Last month, South Korean President Lee Jae-myung invited Trump to consider a meeting with Kim during his Asia trip. Meanwhile, Chinese President Xi also recently met with Kim Jong-un for the first time in 6 years, signaling deepening ties between Beijing and with Pyongyang. South Korea is urging China to play a role in pushing North Korea towards dialogue on its nuclear program. Okay, we're now joined by Dr. Sanjay Kumar. He is a journalist for the Korea Herald, and he joins us live from Seoul in South Korea. Dr. Kumar, always a pleasure to speak to you. Could you, just for the start, go a little bit deeper into the relationship between Beijing and Seoul and what we might expect from these talks going forward?
Thomas, after forging the diplomatic relations in 1992, China and Korea has been cooperating well, but sometimes there has been some ups and downs when it comes to the security aspects in the Korean Peninsula. So a few years back, when there was an installation of THAAD, that time also the relationship was little rocky, but somehow Seoul and Beijing, they managed. So traditionally, South Korea and China, for South Korea, China has been very important in terms of economy, and US has been for security. And these days, from economic standpoint, also US is becoming more important. So this is the like conditions right now. But as you know, like recently, because of trilateral cooperation between Japan, Korea, and US, it was signaling a kind of unbalanced approach. And President Lee Jae-myung's balanced approach, kind of pragmatic diplomacy, has to be practiced. That has been the position. So that is why it is a diplomatic practice to not just engage China into the dialogue, I mean the positive dialogue, but also to extend an invitation to make sure that President Xi Jinping attends the APEC Summit in next month, like 30th October and November 1st is the date. And at the same time, just recently after the victory parade, there was a bilateral summit between North Korea and China. So there is a North Korean aspect as well, because in that bilateral meeting, China did not denounce or not even mentioned this denuclearization aspect, which is very important from South Korea's diplomatic standpoint. So I hope that in this meeting with our Foreign Minister Cho Hyun, he is going to discuss on this too. So it has a different meaning and significance this time.
Yes, and Dr. Kumar, I was wondering if you could go a little bit further into this relationship that North Korea and China have. We all saw those images of those three leaders walking together, of Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping and Kim Jong-un. Going forward, what do you think the relationship between and within the Korean Peninsula is going to be like moving forward, especially bringing Beijing into the picture?
Almost practically, without engaging China, this Korean Peninsula cannot be very stable and peaceful. So it should be applauded that South Korea is understanding this peaceful coexistence kind of scenario in this East Asian region. And that is why South Korea do not want to miss any opportunity to engage China in a very friendly way. the trade relations are very strong, intact, and Cho Hyun's meeting is going to be the first one to China, although he visited India also recently. But after a long time, it is going to be a foreign minister's visit, and since he is going to meet Wang Yi, his counterpart, that is why it is more significant because if Xi Jinping decides to come to Korea, I think after 2011, he has not visited so far. Yeah, so it's long time presidency has not visited. So once he visit here, there can be many diplomatic achievements, milestones, people to people contact, all things will be activated, and then that is why it is the objective of South Korea to bring President Xi into APEC, and there are possibility of
Yes.
you never know, like Trump Xi meeting as well here, which would send a diplomatic message and very strong cooperation signals throughout the world. So that is why we can see that next month South Korea is going to be on the geopolitical chessboard.
Yes, indeed. Dr. Sanjay Kumar, thank you very much for giving us your insight. Always a pleasure to get your analysis on these matters. We now move over to the African continent, where Rwanda